This isn't an exaggeration. It's not drama. It's just the raw truth no one ever taught us to name. Your mind, the one that analyzes everything, anticipates everything, demands everything, is the same mind that, in silence, can pull you into the abyss if you don't learn how to truly listen to it. Have you noticed that? You wake up tired, but you haven't rested. You deliver, you show up, you get things done. But inside, something always whispers, it's not enough. And the worst part? You believe it. Because that voice talking to you every day, it doesn't come from outside. It sounds like your voice. It wears your face. It knows every single one of your insecurities, and it knows exactly how to use them against you. You think you're procrastinating, but really, your mind is just protecting you from the internal war that living has become. You think you're distracted or unfocused, but maybe you're just trying to escape your own mind because living inside it has become unbearable. No one prepared us for this. To realize that overthinking can paralyze us, that feeling too much can sabotage us, that without direction, the mind becomes a maze and you get lost. You sabotage yourself, you forget who you are. So I'll say it again. Either you control your mind, or it will control you. And when it's in control, it has no mercy. Some days, you don't want to get out of bed. Not because you're sleepy, but because nothing feels worth it. You drag yourself to the bathroom, stare into the mirror, and already feel that invisible weight settling on your shoulders. It's not physical. It's a mental weight, psychic, almost spiritual. It feels like waking up with an enemy inside you. An enemy that speaks in your voice, but is never on your side. You try to focus, but your mind jumps from thought to thought, like a broken radio that never turns off. You try to stick to your routine, open emails, respond to messages. But everything feels urgent. Everything feels invasive. And deep down, all you want is silence. Not the silence in the room, but the kind inside your head, where thoughts don't scream, where self-criticism doesn't suffocate you, where you don't feel guilty just for existing. Because living with a disordered mind is like living in a place where everything is falling apart. You try to stay functional, but everything creaks, everything threatens to collapse. And the worst part, you pretend everything's fine. You post smiles, deliver work, talk to people. But inside, you're exhausted from fighting yourself all the time. It's not laziness, it's not weakness. It's the fatigue of surviving a mental battlefield every single day. You've become your own general and your own soldier, carrying guilt that was never yours, living in constant self-monitoring, self-doubt, self-pressure. How long can you keep doing this? How long will you let your mind set the pace of a war you never asked to fight? You deserve rest, not just your body, but your mind, your heart. And maybe what you need isn't more strength, but permission. Permission to stop fighting, to simply exist without attacking yourself. Because living at war with your own mind is the loneliest kind of exhaustion there is. It's strange, isn't it, to have everything under control and still feel trapped, locked inside your own mind, as if every thought were an invisible bar. You walk, you talk, you reply, but inside, it feels like something is watching your every move, every choice, every emotion. It's like living in a room with no windows, where light never really gets in, where everything is too much, too many thoughts, too many comparisons, too many what-ifs that quietly suffocate you. And you try to rationalize it. Try to follow that invisible script society wrote for you. Wake up early, be productive, do more, feel less. But the truth is, you've been living more in survival mode than in presence, more in flight than in peace. Your mind has become a place where you can't find rest. You can't shut it off. Everything echoes. Everything weighs. Everything pulls you down. And you don't even know what it feels like to think lightly anymore. Everything's a calculation. Everything needs a reason, a result, a purpose. But what happens to the soul when even feeling needs to be justified? You lose yourself. Bit by bit, you start to mold yourself until you no longer know who you are without all these mental masks. And the worst part is, the prison has no locked doors. It's built with thoughts, with beliefs, with traumas disguised as truths. You don't see the chains, but you feel them pulling. And that's where the danger lies, because the more time you spend inside this invisible prison, the more you begin to believe it's the only place where you're allowed to exist, even if it hurts, even if it consumes you. But it's not. It doesn't have to be. There is another way to live with your mind. Not in war, not in oppression, but in presence. And to begin, you must first recognize the prison, feel the pain it brings, and then, slowly, start questioning the bars you were taught never to challenge. You weren't born like this, with an overactive mind, a heavy chest, and that constant feeling of always being behind in life. You didn't come into this world already doubting yourself, afraid to make mistakes, ashamed to feel. You learned to be that way. It was absorbed, like a slow, quiet poison that slipped through the cracks of childhood, school, comparisons. You learned to watch yourself. You learned that showing weakness was dangerous, that making mistakes was shameful, that feeling too much meant losing control. And without realizing it, your mind became a guard, a monitor, a warden. It started watching you constantly, questioning your every move, demanding more, even when you had nothing left to give. And all of it was just fear. Fear of rejection, of humiliation, of not being loved for who you really are. So, to protect yourself, you built defenses, patterns, mental routines that, at first, seemed helpful. But now, they suffocate you. Have you ever asked yourself, why? Even when you know what you need to do, you freeze. Why you sabotage yourself? Why you procrastinate what matters most? It's not stupidity. It's not laziness. It's your mind trying to keep you safe, even if it costs you your peace. It learned that the unknown is dangerous, that shining too brightly invites criticism, that trying and failing brings shame. And now, every time you try to move forward, it sounds the alarm. It screams, it's not safe. It pulls you back into the familiar, even if that familiar is what's breaking you. This is the silent chaos. A chaos no one sees, but one that eats you alive from the inside, that keeps you from growing, from loving, from trusting yourself. And maybe the answer isn't to fight it, but to understand it, to look at that chaos with tenderness and realize it only exists because, at one point, it helped you survive. But now, you're not in danger anymore. Now you can re-educate your mind. Teach it that growth isn't death, that change isn't betrayal, that feeling isn't weakness. But it all begins with this question. What if what you call self-sabotage is just a reflection of a mind that learned to fear living? You try so hard to keep everything in place. Organized schedule, detailed plans, prepared answers for every unexpected turn. But deep down, you know none of it truly makes you feel safe, because the control you try to maintain on the outside is just a reflection of the chaos you feel within. It's a house of cards you guard day and night, afraid the wind will take it all. And the saddest part? You've become your own warden, mistaking rigidity for safety, You try to control every thought, every emotion, as if that would shield you from pain. But the mind isn't a machine. It's a river. And the more you try to dam it with artificial walls, the more it overflows when you least expect it. On a quiet Sunday afternoon, in the middle of a meeting, in a silence that catches you off guard, you explode, or you shut down, or you just freeze. Because control is not the same as mastery. Control is suffocation. It's ignoring your internal signals in the name of a fragile stability. And in this effort to seem fine, you stop hearing what really matters. Do you see it? The more you try to silence the mind, the louder it screams. It screams when you hide behind productivity. It screams when you pretend everything's okay. It screams when you say yes, while your whole body wants to say no. It screams because it wants to be heard, not ignored, not fought. Heard. But that's scary, isn't it? It's terrifying to let go of the reins, to trust that even without controlling everything, you can live with lightness. That letting go isn't losing, it's allowing the mind to rearrange itself, allowing silence to return, allowing life to flow. Because maybe real power doesn't come from mastering everything, but from learning how to move with what you feel, without drowning in it. Mastering the mind doesn't mean watching it like a prison guard. It means creating space inside yourself, space to listen, space to breathe, space to simply be. Have you noticed how the mind, when it can't find silence, creates noise? It replays old memories like ghosts. It projects disasters into the future. It invents dialogues that never happened. It's like a frightened child in a dark room, trying to guess what's hiding in the shadows. But when the light comes in, everything seems simpler, calmer, less threatening than it felt. That's what mastering the mind is about. Not silencing it, not defeating it, but turning on that inner light, coming back to presence. Clarity isn't coldness, it's softness with vision. It's that rare moment when you take a deep breath and realize, I am not my thoughts. I am not this voice that accuses me. I am the one who observes. And in that moment, something shifts. The weight in your chest lifts. The knot in your throat loosens. Life slows down. You still have thoughts, but they no longer have you. You still feel emotions, but you no longer drown in them. Because now, you've learned how to return. Return to your body, to the now, to the place where ideas move through you, but no longer control you. It's subtle, it's quiet, but it's freeing. You begin to recognize the patterns, the lies your mind told you for so long, that you have to be constantly productive to be worthy, that you must please to be loved, that you need self-pressure to grow. But those narratives, they don't serve you anymore. They were useful once. They protected you when everything felt too much. But now, they've become chains, and you feel it. It's time to open your hands, to let the old ways fall, to stop fighting your mind, and start inhabiting it with kindness. Clarity is that place, not of rigid control, but of gentle presence, where even chaos has space, but it no longer commands you. The mind, it only wants to protect you, even when it confuses you, even when it paralyzes you. It learned that the world is dangerous, that mistakes are punishable, that feeling too much is weakness. But that's not true anymore. At least, it doesn't have to be. You're no longer in that place where you had to harden yourself just to survive. Now, you can breathe. Now, you have choices, and maybe this isn't about fighting your mind. It's about befriending it, teaching it, patiently, that it's safe now, that there are other ways. New paths. Being present is that. It's choosing not to live like someone who's always running. It's no longer escaping yourself. It's being whole, even when everything around you is uncertain. Because the truth is, you don't have to control everything. You just need to be here. Here, where your breath anchors you, where your body speaks, where thoughts may come and go, but no longer define you. You can rest now. You can release. You can exist without surveillance. And if that feels unfamiliar, it might be because you were never given permission to simply be. But now you can give yourself that permission. You don't have to be strong all the time. You just have to be honest with yourself. You just have to be present. And presence, my love, is the beginning of true freedom. If this touched something inside you, maybe it's time to listen to yourself more gently. Subscribe to continue this silent conversation with your own mind.